Good morning, freeze dryers. Welcome back to the Live Life Simple kitchen. Today we are continuing our never-ending quest, or my never-ending quest, for freeze-dried snacks, because I am what you might call a compulsive snacker. I eat lots of small things through the day, don't really ever eat any big meals, so I'm always looking for something with that good crunch, maybe a little bit of salt, something to replace potato chips or those unhealthy snack foods that you're used to. We've had lots of successful freeze-dried snacks so far. We've had zucchini bites, we've had edamame snacks, we've had beet chips, sweet potato chips, and even different freeze-dried fruits and vegetables, but they don't always do the trick as far as replacing some of the high-fat, high salty, very oily snacks that you're used to. So today we're going to try and replace corn nuts, which to me, that's kind of all of those things rolled into one. But I've never been able to figure out how they make corn nuts exactly, but I do remember as a child eating a lot of hominy. And hominy has that same shape as a corn nut. It's basically a fermented corn. If you've never heard of hominy, hominy is a kernel of corn that has been nixtamalized, and I'm not gonna go into the details. You can Google it if you want. It's a certain way of cooking it. It takes the texture of the corn kernel, makes the kernel expand, makes the texture very soft. You see this a lot in southern dishes like hominy grits, or you see it a lot in Latin America dishes where they mix it with certain types of meats and things. And I want to show you what they look like. So first we need to open up these cans, but I want to talk about these cans. I found these cans at Safeway. These are large number 10 cans. These were about $6. Sometimes hominy can be difficult to find. Try looking in your Latin American or Mexican style cooking areas of your grocery store, because oftentimes they are there. Growing up, I ate a lot of hominy in my house. We would just have them with grits or just put some butter on them and maybe some pepper, and they were really good just that way. So when you get hominy, they're already cooked through that process. They have water on them, so you're gonna wanna drain them off. You can rinse them off as well. So if you were just cooking these normally, you would just heat them up, boil them, whatever. For freeze drying purposes, I'm just gonna season them and freeze dry them. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to add these to a bowl and season them, and then we're gonna go right into the freeze dryer with them. And now you can see why I think corn nuts can be replicated with hominy. It has that same kind of bigger kernel looking shape, and I think once it's freeze dried, it'll have some good crunch too. The corn nuts that you get at the store, I would imagine, are either baked or deep fried or something like that. They're very oily, they're super high fat, extremely salty. If you make your own freeze dried, obviously you can control those variables a lot more, and you're getting something that doesn't have all the oil and the extra fat and everything. For seasoning, I'm just gonna use my Traeger rub, which is kind of a blend of spices and salt. I use this for all kinds of things. If you haven't watched the channel before or seen a video that I use this, you can add as much or as little of this as you want. I have a video where I make this from scratch. It's basically a Traeger rub copycat. I think also if you had just some garlic salt or garlic powder, maybe some pepper would be really good in here. I'm gonna try some of this Bangkok blend also, which is kind of an Asian type spice. I'm just gonna give this a good mix before we put them on the trays. Going on to pre-cut parchment from freeze drying supplies. And you can see it's not gonna have the same yellow color. I would guess they add that yellow color in on corn nuts. They're probably not naturally that color. And I wanna show you just kind of what the texture is like for this hominy. It's very soft, you can squish it between your hands. It kind of reminds you of a cooked potato texture. One of these number 10 cans should get you a couple of medium trays. The can says about 6 cups of hominy in each one of those number 10 cans. I'm going on to small freeze dryer trays right now, so I will have some extra, and my trays that I do have are pretty loaded. All right, round 2 with the Bangkok blend. 2 number 10 cans, more than enough, fills 4 small trays. It would probably fill a 5 tray medium just about perfectly. Time to hit up the freeze dryer. No pre-freeze today. We're just going straight into the freeze dryer. This recipe will of course be added to our freeze drying cookbook. I believe we have close to 400 recipes in the freeze drying cookbook now. And if you are more of a hard copy person, we have a volume 1, volume 2, working on a volume 3 of a hard copy cookbook. Those can all be found at freezedryingsupplies.com. And if you want the online version, which is updated every time we do a video, you can go to the freezedryingcookbook.com. If you like freeze drying, if you like food preservation, gardening, little homesteading, make sure you subscribe to Live Life Simple. Give us a thumbs up while you're there. Also click the bell to get notifications every time we put a video out. That will notify you then. Today we're using Harvest Right freeze dryers. We've been using Harvest Right for about 6+ years now. If you are looking for specs or pricing, or you're ready to purchase, please consider using our affiliate link. It can be found down in the description. That greatly helps out this little YouTube channel if you found us informative and helpful. That also helps us do giveaways in our Facebook group. We also have a MeWe group. Those are both Retired at 40s Freeze Drying group, and our other socials are on X and Instagram. You can find those at OG Freeze Dryer. Now let's find out how our freeze-dried healthy alternative corn nuts turned out. Corn nuts in a freeze dryer. That was a little bit longer cycle than I was expecting. It took about 34 hours, but these are really very moisture filled. So I'm gonna take these out, we'll bag them up, and then tomorrow we'll take a taste test. Hopefully we have some corn nuts. End result was not exactly what I was looking for. Still has a little bit of crunch. You're just not gonna get that same crunch as you would if you deep fried something, or if you just fried something or baked something in oil. It still has a crunch, but it's a little powdery. And what I mean by that is it kind of just turns into a powder when it's crumbled. Best way I can describe it is similar to a saltine cracker. When you crumble up a saltine cracker or crumble it up in your mouth. Still plenty tasty with these spices, and you could actually do all kinds of different flavors for these hominy. I just didn't really get what I was going for replicating corn nuts. Just has a different type of texture really in general. Still make a great snack though. Make sure you give this a try if you like hominy and if you like corn. This is plenty filling and a great snack still. Kind of almost like a popped popcorn. In the meantime, remember to live life simple. Catch you next week.